Welcome back to the Tyrant Railroad Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and today I want to continue on with JMRI, in particular the Decoder Pro module. We've been working on this F7, Athearn Blue Box F7 with an inner mountain detailed shell on it, courtesy of Frank Steelerfan 820 on YouTube. So I mentioned briefly about momentum, and the Athearn Blue Box, in particular the F units, went through an evolutionary process. In the 60s they had like a rubber band drive. Then in the 70s they went to a motor with some of these saddle weights, front and rear saddle weight. Okay? Then in the 80s, they went to what was called superpower, and they added big flywheels and big weights. Okay, this is a superpower. It's got big flywheels. It's got the big weight. So the momentum on this is fine. Actually, it rolls too far. But we're going to leave it as is. When I get through setting this one up with all the different options I put in for my F units, I will show you about momentum on an older F unit that was not a superpower. So it stopped and started on a dime, so we needed a transition period, start up and slow down. And we can do that in Decoder Pro very easily. This one doesn't need it. So what are we going to work on next with this one? Well, let's bring it up and take a look at what some of our options are. All right, here it is again, 326. All right, and we got different things here. We've already done the entry and the basic. The motor control is where we work on momentum. We already have done the lights. Okay, so let's go down here to speed control. All right. So if we go to I got to put the unit onto the programming track. The hand of God. And I've mentioned this before on numerous tips of the day. I do not and would never program a locomotive on the main, because if you've got anything else hot on your, when I say hot, power to it on the main, you're likely to program it inadvertently. So I always bring stuff over to a dedicated programming and test track, such as what I've shown before. All right, so I've got her on the programming track right there. All right. And now we're going to go to basic speed control. All right, so this is set up where use V-start, CV29, bit 4, blah, 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 blah. This is the default, all right? And you can vary things here, all right? But I don't. I have, for my railroad, a maximum speed limit of 70 miles per hour. Now keep in mind, I'm modeling urban Chicago, and you're not going to get a locomotive going typically over 55, let alone 70. Okay, so but what we're going to do is we're going to go to the speed table right here, and we're going to adjust this table so that the maximum speed over here is 70 miles an hour, plus or minus 2 miles per hour. Okay, so I'm going to put the locomotive on the track and hook up my AccuTrack 2 speedometer, and we'll do some run-bys and see where we're at, and then make some adjustments. So stay tuned. Running it by with the throttle at 100%, and let's see what kind of speed we get. All right, 90 miles per hour. All right, so here we want to go to the speed table. All right. And when the default on these would look like that. Okay. And what we want to do is make sure we hit this use speed table and bring it down. And typically, and I know this just from experience, all right, that typically what we're going to want to do is bring these down somewhere around mid-range, and then we hit match ends. Okay, that gives us this. Then we go ahead and write the changes on the sheet. All right, and save. And once we do that, then we want to put it back through the AccuTrack at full 100%. See what kind of speeds we get. So stay tuned. Okay, so I finally got it dialed in to 71. That came in at 76 that time. It's going to have some fluctuations. 71. So, all right, that's where we're going to leave it, and we'll move on to the next process in JMRI. All right, became a little more, I won't say complicated, involved than it normally is, just because I didn't warm the locomotive up the way I should have. So run her in about 10 minutes, then go to your speed table and set your high end. If you set all your locos for the high end, and the speed table may vary, as long as the high end and the curve work out close to equal, all of a sudden you got speed match locomotives. It becomes very easy for consisting purposes. Okay? So, anyway, I want to thank you for joining me here at the Retirement Railroad Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and y'all have a great day. Bye now.